South Carolina's weatherman, our hurricane expert, is Jim Gandy. He is standing by with an update. Jim, good evening.
JR, thank you very much. This is a time lapse of the radars from Morehead City and Wilmington over the last 5 hours. You can see how it's just been kind of drifting, kind of westward, so to speak. But as it passed by Cape Lookout, they've had winds up to near 100 miles per hour. At Fort Macon, they had wind gusts up to 105 miles per hour. Right now, this was the 8 o'clock advisory. The National Hurricane Center has gone back to 3-hourly advisories. So our next full advisory won't come until 11 o'clock. At that time, it was 15 miles northeast of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, with maximum sustained winds at 70 miles per hour moving west at 3 miles per hour. The center of the circulation about right here, it's near the Augusta area. It's moving into South Carolina right now, and as this thing continues to move toward the northeast, it's going to slowly accelerate. So we don't expect it to be here in South Carolina very long. In fact, by about midday, it's going to be moving up into North Carolina. And with that, the worst of the weather will be out of here. But it may take the afternoon for some of these wind gusts to kind of come down.
Jim, let me ask you real quick about the possibility of tornadic activity as a result of this system. Are there any areas of the state that need to be on the lookout more than others?
Probably so. There is a slight chance that there could be, let's say, an isolated tornado. And that would be north of I-20. East of I-77. So basically the northeastern part of our state, but the chance is quite low, and quite frankly, I really don't think that we're going to see much in the way of tornadoes. That is going to be mainly over in eastern North Carolina.
So I want to say thank you to everybody joining us on Facebook Live. And Sade said, is there going to be any lightning? She is scared to go back to sleep.
Yeah. Well, there will be some lightning, but it's been few and far between. In fact, I'm not seeing anything, no lightning strikes. Okay. But we don't get usually much lightning with tropical systems, with the exception of some of those feeder bands like where we have been before, seeing some of the tornadoes. Now, the tornado warning that was issued for Richland County actually came from a shower. It wasn't even producing any lightning.
Okay.
So again, we just don't get that much lightning. This is not like spring storms. These are live oak trees, and they are big trees, and they have been completely stripped. You can see how some of the trees have been broken right in half. And
that was a gas station.
That was. Now it's just the water that's coming up. These palm trees, they're a little different construction there. They're not native to that area, so they're brought in. So they're a little different. But there is just a complete amount of devastation. And one of the things that we're not seeing in here at Mexico Beach, there was an extreme storm surge.
I'm awfully concerned about this area because 20 inches already, maybe 20 inches more. This is like an East Coast Harvey.
It is very much like that. And the thing that I'm concerned about is, in 2016 when Matthew went by, I don't know exactly how much the rain was up here, but it resulted in those historic floods down here in the eastern part of the state. I'm also concerned because Charlotte is likely to get 10 to 15 inches of rain. And of course, that's going to affect the Wateree River. So that's another concern that we're going to have. And if it, for any reason, were to slow down over here in western North Carolina, then these rivers would come into play. But I certainly, my greatest concern is over here in the eastern part of the state because they've already had rain, and they're going to get so much more.
I don't think people are really taking into consideration how 20 inches of rain and the PD is going to affect us here in the Midlands. Even though we see that 3 to 7 inches for us over 7 days, we're talking about a combined 40 inches of rain. That's almost 4 feet of rain.
I know, and think back to 2016 with Matthew. We were thinking we were going to get we got some rain, but we didn't get that much. And over in Sumter, they got a good amount of rain, but it was even more up in North Carolina, and that all came down, and that's why I'm concerned tonight because of the rivers in the eastern part of our state. That is a disaster that won't happen this weekend. It will happen next week.